Hi folks, John with the Wingman115 Channel. Glad you could join me today. Today we're out here in the lovely woods, have my little bushcrafter table set up, and we're going to be doing a review on a new axe from SCHRADE. It is the SCAXE9, what I call the SCHRADE SCAXE9. It's a unique design in and of itself where it has a saw blade in the handle. So what I'm going to do, as always, I'm going to cut away. We're going to do a quick tabletop specs rundown, and then we'll do some practical application, and then I'll come back and give you some final thoughts and a rating on this axe. Come along and join me.
Yeah, it does not like this angle at all.
So the way the angle of the handle is it's putting weird pressure on the blade to where it doesn't want to rake back.
Yeah, because if you come back, I think it digs more into the wood.
Try where you're not pulling up so hard on the back of the handle and just up on the top. Yeah, just to get it going. So it's kind of an awkward angle there.
It does not like this angle.
Okay, we're having an issue with the axe in, I would say, this 45-degree angle, kind of like a crosscut saw angle. And the reason I'm thinking is because when the handle's in line, you're getting straight force coming across. So you're not having like downward pressure on that blade. But when you take the blade and you put it at that 45-degree angle, there's like downward forces. Even if I'm choked up close, you can feel it. I don't think that that's a good angle to use this with. Maybe it's me, maybe it's the way we're doing it, but I've been using saws for quite a while, and the force, I believe, the way that the teeth are, the rake of the teeth on the blade, it's creating forces to where that blade is digging, wanting to pull down this way instead of pulling this way and using the teeth to cut. No matter how light a pressure, if I just gingerly pull, look, no matter how close, it's having an issue. So I would probably take that feature out of there. Maybe some other people can show me and not have an issue with that. I don't know, but I've been using hand saws for quite a while, and it's just, I think it's just too much downward force, especially when you're choked up and you're down on the handle trying to get some leverage. It's just not grabbing it. But if I put it back in line, you can see the forces are pulling almost pulling a little bit of upward pressure when you're coming back with the rake of the blade. So if I was going to critique this, I would probably take this feature out of that and just have it like this. Like I said, maybe I'm wrong. If somebody can explain in the comments below, or if they do a video on this, they could show me. Alright, we're going to try chopping some dead pine that's out here on the forest floor. The axe head bites really well. My only concern, and I'm going to stop for a second, I've been using this for a while out here, and I'm going to come up close so I can show you. Right here is biting into my finger as I'm holding the handle. Just feels really uncomfortable, and I'm getting a lot of torsional twist on the handle. You can hear it popping. The axe head is solid. I mean, it's taken pretty good chunks of wood, but I've been using it now for a little bit, and the handle, I'm sorry, I have to be honest, is just very uncomfortable. I like the concept, but I'm not sure how practical this is going to be out in the woods. I'm not a guy that likes to wear gloves when I come out here. I'm just old school. I could see if you're going to use this, you would have to wear some gloves. Let's go on to the next test. Let's see how well we could do a point on this dead piece of pine tree limb. I'm going to choke up a little bit on this axe, kind of use it like I would say using a hatchet. Not sure if the camera's mic is picking this up, but you can really hear the blade rattling inside the handle. And I'm feeling it like a lot of twist in there. So I'm thinking the way that they've had to hollow out probably 2/3 of this handle. I'm not saying that this handle is not rock solid, but I'm feeling it feels loose. Like it almost feels like the axe head wants to fly out of my hand, unfortunately. And that's not a good feeling. That's why we come out here in the woods and we test our gear to know if it's going to perform for you guys. You know, in regards to this axe head, I mean, this is a hard stump. This is a dead stump. But let's see with the hammerhead. Oh, I'm feeling shock big time coming down that handle, especially right about here. And it just feels, the handle doesn't feel secure to me. Maybe you can see how much twist I have on that. Now, every handle is going to have a little bit of twist, but that's a lot right there. That, to me, right here, is going to be the weakest link for this handle. And let me show you why. I'll come up close. The cutout right there goes almost probably to the top of the E. So that's going to be a big weak point. One thing that I've noticed on the SCHRADE 9 as opposed to the SCHRADE 2L that I have is the way that the grind is on the SCHRADE 2L. I was able to just get almost onion skin paper curls out of it, where I'm having a hard time to find the right sweet spot to get this to bite. Now I have to understand that the SCHRADE 2L is a hatchet and this is a full-blown axe, and it's going to have a little bit steeper grind because it's meant to split. But I just wanted to point that out there. If you're doing projects, it's like any tool, like I said before, you have to use the tool and learn how to use the tool properly, and each tool is going to react and work different out here in the woods, hence why we come out here and do this. But I wanted to show a wide variety and array of different tasks that we're doing to help give you, the consumer, a better understanding of the use of this product and how it's going to perform. Let's see how well the hammer works. Yeah, I have no doubt with a hammer, but I'm getting a lot of shock just buzzing right up through this handle into my hand. Now for some final thoughts and a rating on the SCHRADE. You guys seen the tabletop, the specs rundown. You've seen some practical application where we sawed, where we did some chopping, tried to do some feather sticks. I voiced some of my concerns, and I'm going to have to remunerate those concerns here. One of them being, I'm going to come around and I'm going to show you real close, is we've used this for about an hour out here, and I'm already starting to get a blood blister in my hand. And that's one of the concerns that I stated about the handle having that groove cut in there. I really like the concept, but unfortunately, I don't know how practical that is. I like the idea and the concept of having multiple tools in one item, because it just gives your more capabilities when you go out into the woods. But I think the jury's still out on this. I like the axe head. It is a traditional axe head, and unlike the Shax 2L that just did great feather sticks, the angle of the grind's so steep on this one, I had a really tough time to find a sweet spot to get any feather sticks at all. And if you're a fan of the channel and if you've watched that video, the Shax 2L did an outstanding job on that. Now, you've seen the test where we chopped, and then I showed you how much lateral movement and how much up and down movement we had. And a concern that I have is that the cutout in this handle goes all the way down to where the lettering is. And unfortunately, I don't know if this is going to fail, but to me, that is a weak spot right there, because there is a lot of torque and a lot of torsion that's going to be in that area. You're going to get a lot of flex up and down and back and forth. And every time you're striking with that, there's a lot of preload, but I could really feel the shock on some of the chopping tests that we did coming right down into the handle, especially when I was using it up here where I choked up and I was just chopping tent pegs and such. Now, let's talk about the saw. When you have the saw at this angle, and I voiced my concern when we were sawing through one of the tree limbs, the way that the rake of the blade is, it has a really aggressive tooth on the backstroke. So when your hand's below that center line, that center of gravity, there's just enough preload on that blade where it's pulling down on the backstroke to where you're not going to get a good bite. It's just binding up. When I go to that 180 position and everything's in line, my hand's in line, center line with that blade, it cut like a champ. So the blade went right through that just like butter. But on this angle, unless somebody can show me on film, that was pretty much rendered useless in that angle. I like the concept, but I just don't see the functionality on that. On this angle here, it's great. And the reason being is you could reach up and you could cut limbs and such over your head. And it's what folks call a great force multiplier. You could do multiple things with this. But unfortunately, I don't think this design is quite yet ready. It's binding up as it's going in. It's just real tight. So if I had to give this a rating between 1 and 5, And you guys know how I rate all my stuff. 1 being that it's a dumper, it's got to go to the boneyard. 5, it's a grand slam. With all the concerns that I have with this item, objectively, and I'm just keeping it real, I have to give it a 2. It's not a total failure. It's going to chop, it's going to cut. But biting into my hand, the handle issue, I think we're going to have to rethink this one. And as you guys know, I'm a SCHRADE fanboy. I love SCHRADE. They make a lot of good stuff. But I have to keep it honest and real and have integrity on the channel for you guys. So on this one, I think that they have to go back to the drawing board, maybe have the engineers take a look at this. Because sooner or later, I just think with a lot of people out there, to me, the head, when I was chopping, it felt almost like I didn't feel safe, like the head was going to come off. And I know I hate to say that about a brand, but I have to keep it real for you folks. So on this one, I think we have to go back to the drawing board on this and maybe rethink the saw and the handle. Folks, this is John with the Wingman115 Channel. I thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next video. Take care, folks. Folks, if you like the content, please subscribe, like, and share. And for the latest channel updates, follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Google+, and Twitter. Folks, thanks for checking in. Until the next video, take care. We'll see you.